In the previous video, we studied the integrated rate law for the first order reaction. Let us now study the half-life of the first order reaction. It is denoted by T half as well. All the radioactive processes follow the first order kinetics. Half-life of a reaction is defined as the time required for the reactant concentration to fall to 1/2 of its initial value. Let us now study the half-life and the rate constant of the first order reaction. Here we have to consider the integrated rate law for the first order reaction, that is K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log to the base 10 A0 divided by AT. Here A0 is the initial concentration of reactant A at time t is equal to 0. The initial concentration A0 falls to AT at time t after the start of the reaction. So the time which is required for A0, that is the initial concentration, to become half, that is A0 divided by 2, is denoted as T half, that is the half-life. Hence we can take AT, that is the final concentration, as equal to A0 divided by 2, and this is possible when your time is equal to T half. Now we need to substitute these values in the integrated rate law. Hence we get K is equal to 2.303. In place of T we will be substituting T half log to the base 10 A0, that is the initial concentration, and in place of AT we will be substituting A0 divided by 2. So here the initial concentration, that is A0, will be cancelled. So we are left with log to the base 10 2. So the equation will take the form of K is equal to 2.303 divided by T half log to the base 10 2. The value of log 2 is 0.3010. So we need to substitute this value in the above equation. So we will get K is equal to 2.303 divided by T half into 0.3010. Multiplying 2.303 into 0.3010, we will get the answer as 0.693. So now the equation will become K is equal to 0.693 divided by T half. Since we are finding out the half-life, that is T half, so on rearranging the above equation we will get T half is equal to 0.693 divided by K. Here is a graph which shows the plotting of AT, that is the final concentration versus time. The half-life is independent of the initial concentration of the reactant for the first order reaction. Let us now study the graphical representation for the first order reaction. Here we are going to plot a graph of rate against the concentration. Let us consider a first order reaction, that is reactant A giving us product. For the first order reaction, the differential rate law is given by rate is equal to K concentration of AT. Here AT is the concentration of the reactant A which remains unreacted after time t. Let us now consider the instantaneous rate of reaction, which is equal to minus dA divided by dt. If we consider the above two equation, we will get minus dA divided by dt is equal to K concentration of AT. This reaction can also be written as minus dA upon dt is equal to K concentration of AT plus 0. This equation here resembles the linear equation of a straight line, which is y is equal to mx plus c. Here minus dA upon dt is y, k at is mx and 0 is c. So when we plot rate against the concentration of A, we get a straight line which passes through the origin. For this, the slope is equal to k. For the next graph, we have to consider the integrated rate law, and the equation is K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log to the base 10 A0 divided by AT. We can rearrange the above equation as KT divided by 2.303 is equal to log to the base 10 A0 minus log to the base 10 AT. So, log to the base 10 AT is equal to minus KT divided by 2.303 plus log to the base 10 A0. This equation here also resembles the linear equation of straight line, and that is y is equal to mx plus c. So when we plot a graph of log to the base 10 A0 upon AT versus time, we get a straight line. It is a y-axis intercept and the slope is equal to minus kt divided by 2.303. For the next graphical representation, we are considering the equation log to the base 10 A0 divided by AT is equal to kt divided by 2.303. Here this equation has a straight line form, that is y is equal to mx. So when we plot a graph of log A0 divided by AT against concentration, we get a straight line passing through the origin. So this was all about the graphical representation of first order reaction. Let us now study some examples. First example is hydrogen peroxide giving the formation of water and oxygen. Here the rate is equal to the concentration of the reactant, that is hydrogen peroxide. Since the concentration of hydrogen peroxide is raised to the power 1, the order of the reaction is first, or it is a first order reaction. In the second reaction, N2O5 gives the formation of NO2 plus O2. So here the rate is equal to the concentration of the reactant, that is N2O5. Since the concentration of N2O5 is raised to the power 1, it is a first order reaction. Next is the integrated rate law for the gas phase reactions. Here we are going to consider a gas phase reaction, that is A giving us B plus C. The reactant and the products, they are in gaseous state. The initial pressure of reactant A is considered as Pi and it is going to decrease by x with time t. So the pressure of reactant A at time t will be given as Pa is equal to Pi minus x. The pressure of the products B and C will be written as Pb and Pc respectively, and it will be equal to x. On rearranging, we can write x is equal to P minus Pi. Now we are going to substitute x is equal to P minus Pi in the Pa is equal to Pi. After substituting, we get Pa is equal to Pi minus P minus Pi. Close the bracket. So this will be Pi minus P plus Pi. So we can write it as 2Pi minus P. Now we have to consider the integrated rate law. The equation is K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log to the base 10 A0 divided by AT. Here A0 is the initial concentration, so it will be equal to Pi, and AT is equal to Pa, which is equal to 2Pi minus P. By substituting these values in the above equation, we get K is equal to 2.303 divided by T log to the base 10. In place of A0 we will be writing Pi, and in place of AT we will be writing 2Pi minus P. P is the total pressure of the reaction mixture at time t. The next topic is zero order reaction. The zero order reactions are independent of the concentration of the reactant. Let us now study the integrated rate law for the zero order reaction. Let us consider a general reaction, that is reactant A giving products. For zero order reaction, the differential rate law is written as rate is equal to minus dA divided by dt is equal to K concentration of A raised to 0, hence it will be equal to K. Concentration of A is raised to 0 because it is a zero order reaction. On rearranging, the above equation can be written as dA is equal to minus K dt. Now we have to integrate the above equation between the limits concentration of A is equal to A0, that is the initial concentration at time t is equal to 0, and A is equal to AT at time t is equal to t. This is the concentration of the reactant A after time t. Now integrating dA between the limits A0 and AT is equal to, since k is the constant, we can write it outside the integral sign, so we'll get it as is equal to minus k integrating between the limits 0 to t dt. Further we get it as concentration of AT minus A0 is equal to minus KT. By rearranging the above equation, we can write it as KT is equal to A0 minus AT. Let us now study the units of zero order reaction. For determining the units, we have to consider the above equation. In this equation, we have to transfer T in the denominator. Hence, the equation will become K is equal to A0 minus AT divided by T. Here, concentration is measured in terms of mole per liter divided by T. Liters you can also take in terms of dm cube. Hence, the unit for zero order reaction can also be written as mole per dm cube divided by T. So when you bring it up in the numerator, it will become T inverse. Let us now study the half-life of a zero order reaction. So here we are taking the same equation, that is K is equal to A0 minus AT divided by T. Here we are substituting T equal to T half and AT is equal to A0 by 2. Hence we get K is equal to A0 minus A0 divided by 2 divided by T half. This quantity here, that is A0 divided by 2 divided by T half, is one quantity. Hence when we subtract A0 minus A0 divided by 2 divided by T half, that 2 will go along with T half, forming 2 times T half. Hence we have to minus A0 minus A0 divided by 2 times T half. So that is, in general I would tell you, that is 1 minus half, and hence we will get it as A0 divided by 2 times T half. So the equation is K is equal to A0 divided by 2 times T half. Since we are finding out the half-life reaction of the zero order, we have to transfer T half on the left hand side and K in the denominator. Hence we will get T half is equal to A0 divided by 2 times K. Hence from the above equation, we can say that the half-life of a zero order reaction is directly proportional to the initial concentration of the reactant, that is A0. Now we move on to the graphical representation of the zero order reaction. If we consider the rate law, AT is equal to minus KT plus A0. It resembles the straight line equation, that is y is equal to mx plus c. Hence, when we plot a graph of concentration against time, we get a straight line which is a y-intercept and the slope is equal to minus k. Here are some examples of zero order reaction. First example is decomposition of ammonia on platinum metal. In this reaction, ammonia gives the formation of nitrogen and hydrogen. In this case, platinum is the metal and the surface of the metal is completely covered by the NH3 molecule, that is ammonia molecule. Now since ammonia is in gaseous state, of course there will be more number of gaseous molecules of ammonia which will be present in the air when compared to the number of ammonia molecules which are stuck to the surface of the metal. And in this case, the reaction takes place only between the ammonia molecules which are stuck to the metal surface. Hence it is concluded that the rate of zero order reaction is independent of the concentration of the reactant, because there are a number of NH3 molecules which are present in the air and which do not react with the metal surface. Next are the pseudo order reactions. The word pseudo means false. How would you define pseudo order reactions? There are certain reactions which are expected to be of higher order, but they follow the first order kinetics. Let us consider the hydrolysis of methyl acetate. Since it is hydrolysis, water is to be involved. Methyl acetate has the formula of CH3COOCH3. So we are going to react it with water, which is going to give us CH3COOH plus CH3OH. According to the definition, we know that the rate is proportional to the concentration of the reactant. So if we look in this case, there are two reactants, that is methyl acetate and water. So according to the definition, it has to be a second order reaction. But however, it is a first order reaction. And the reason behind this is water, the concentration of water is considered as constant here because it is considered as a solvent. So even if there is any change, it is not going to affect the initial concentration. Hence it is taken as constant and represented as K2 dash. The rate is equal to K dash molar concentration of CH3, COOCH3 and molar concentration of water. We know that the molar concentration of water is equal to K dash. So hence substituting this in the above equation, we get rate is equal to K dash product of K double dash molar concentration of CH3COOCH3. So here we can see that the power is raised to 1 and hence it is a first order reaction. We can consider K dash product of K double dash as equal to K. So pseudo order reaction means though it is a second order reaction, it is converted to a first order reaction by taking the concentration of water as constant. The last topic of this chapter is effect of catalyst on the rate of reaction. We all are aware that catalyst is a substance which is added to the reactants, which increases the speed of the reaction without itself being consumed in the reaction. Let us consider a reaction where potassium chlorate reacts with oxygen in the presence of MnO2, that is manganese oxide, to form potassium chloride. In this reaction, MnO2, that is manganese oxide, is the catalyst, and it has been observed that the decomposition rate of potassium chlorate increases with addition of a catalyst. A catalyst also provides an alternative pathway for the reaction with low. If we observe this graph here, energy is plotted against the reaction coordinate. Now this is the graph for the same reaction. So if you look at the graph here, the first curve, you can see EA, that is the activation energy is more. So basically you have your reactant, it requires higher activation energy which is represented by EA in order to form the product. But when you use a catalyst, you will see that less amount of activation energy is required to form the product. Activation energy. So if we consider the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide in presence of iodine ions which act as catalyst to form water and oxygen, we observe that at room temperature the rate of reaction is slower in the absence of catalyst with activation energy of 76 kJ per mole. But when iodine ions are added as catalyst, the reaction takes place at a faster rate with activation energy 57 kJ per mole. So this reaction shows the decrease in activation energy when a catalyst is added to that particular reaction. This is a graph which shows the plotting of fraction of molecules against energy. A catalyst lowers the threshold energy. Threshold energy is the energy a molecule requires in order to start a reaction. So when a number of molecules acquire this threshold energy, it tends to cross the energy barrier, though it is in minimum amount. And this is how the rate of reaction for a catalyzed reaction is higher when compared with a non-catalyzed reaction. So this was all about chemical kinetics.